In this training session, I'm going to reveal the exact methods that you need to follow to get your Google My Business listing to the top of Google's local search results in 2015 in as little as 7 days. You see, ever since Google's latest local algorithm update known as Pigeon in late July of 2014, the local maps results underwent major changes affecting many local businesses, maybe even yours. The Pigeon update was rolled out nationwide and drastically changed Google's local search results. You see, prior to last July, if you wanted to get your business listing at the top of Google Maps, really all you had to do was list your business in a few hundred local search directory websites like Yelp, CitySearch, Foursquare, Yahoo Local, Manta, Easy Local, etc. And if you did that, within a few weeks to maybe a month, your listing made it to page number 1. Basically, you could list your way to the top of the search results. It was really as simple as that. Although the ranking factors have changed, Google My Business is still the fastest way to get free leads from 97% of local consumers looking to find your products and services. If you know exactly what to focus on and what to stay away from, you can get your listing to the top quickly. What I'm about to share with you can and will have a very positive impact on your business for the rest of this year and beyond. So in order to get the most out of this training while it's still online, is to eliminate all distractions and get out a pen and paper and take notes. Close your door, mute your phone, and get ready to learn. This will make you more money in 2015. Now, I understand that your time is valuable and I can respect that. So I'm going to make a promise to you right now. This training will focus only on exactly what works right now in 2015, not what used to work. No fluff or theory, just the areas you need to focus on for fast results and real long-term staying power at the top of Google Maps. Alright, let's start off with the first of the 4 most important maps ranking factors. Now, this isn't the most important. I didn't really put them in any specific order, but we're just going to start where I typically start, and that's picking the right website address for better Google Maps placement. So follow me over to my computer. We're going to go on the web real quick, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, we're here at Google, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by picking the right website address and how that can actually help speed up the process of getting your Google My Business listing to the first page and more importantly to the top of the results. So we're just going to do a sample search here, and we're just going to go, we'll just do Sarasota chiropractor. We'll use a chiropractor throughout this training. So here's our search results, and then here are these maps results. Again, these are paid. These little ads right here, every time you click on one of these, they pay. These are the maps results, and then here are the organic or website results. Now that we have that established, what you want to do, if you can, is actually get a website address, or also known as a domain, that has your keywords and at least city name in the what's called root domain. And a root domain is just the words before the .com or the .net or .whatever. I recommend a .com, but that may or may not make a huge difference. So .com or .net typically works. And if you notice with these results here, you see that you have Sarasota Clinic. Okay, now the title tag is also has the keyword, and that's the clickable link you see here, Sarasota Chiropractic. And so Sarasota, this here is SRQ, and then you see chiropractic. So if the keyword's chiropractor, they're using either the city name and or the keyword. This is Vibrant Life Sarasota. And then we have chiropractic, again, which is another form of chiropractor as far as the keyword is concerned. And then, excuse me, down here they have the Sarasota chiropractor. Now, you don't have to have this, okay, but this does help a little bit. It does give you a little bit of a boost, because one of the first things that Google looks at when they crawl your website, excuse me, when they crawl your website, is the domain name, and specifically what's called the URL. So if we go to, say, click on this listing, instead of going to the Google My Business listing, again, it takes you right to their website. And this here would be called the URL. So you want to get, if you can, a domain name for your website that actually has the city name and your main keyword in it. Now, it doesn't have to be an exact match. A lot of times those aren't available, but if you use the words the or best or put something before or after, it doesn't have to always be in the exact order. Say in this example, Sarasota Chiropractor, it could be chiropractor in Sarasota, FL, whatever's available As long as you have the city name and your main keyword somewhere in there, that's good. Now, what I actually recommend is a little bit different than most people do, but this works. If you already have a website and say it's bobschiropractic.com, for example, and we'll just say, how about Bob's Wellness Clinic, and he's a chiropractor, so there's no keywords in it at all. You can still obviously rank in Google Maps with that domain, but if you want an added advantage, I'd actually get a WordPress site and buy a keyword-rich domain and use that website basically like a mini site of your main site and attach it to your Google My Business listing, and also use it in all your directory listings as well. You don't have to do it, but it does speed up the process. Now, for example, say you're doing really well and you just want an extra boost and you already have what's called a branded website address or branded domain, and that's something similar to Dr. I believe it's ArmyCares.com. That's their name. I'm assuming that's what's called a branded domain, which is fine. But what you'd like to do is typically create a page on your site that is specifically for Google My Business. So it would be like, in this case, Dr. Army, I'm mispronouncing the name, cares.com / how to find a chiropractor Sarasota, or how to find a chiropractor in Sarasota. So that'd be a page that you would then link to your listing. So that's the first thing, is picking out a website address, or more specifically a domain name that contains your city that you're located in, along with your main keyword. Now, it doesn't have to be in the exact order as the phrase. If, say, a chiropractor wants to be on page 1 for Sarasota Chiropractor, if that's not available, it's okay to do chiropractor in Sarasota, or chiropractor Sarasota, Florida, or you can play around with it, but you want to have that city name and main keyword in your domain name. Now, that being said, as you can see, you do not have to have that. It's just you have to do a little bit more work to get your listing to the top. So I'm going to show you a real quick breakdown here. Let's go to, let's see here. We'll just flip through my slides. All right, so this is a great example, okay? We're going to go into the full screen view. This is a branded domain name, and that would be like your website or yourbusiness.com, Bob's Chiropractic, or healthwellnesscenter.com / how to find a chiropractor Sarasota. It's important to have your main keyword and city somewhere in, and this is called a URL. So that would be if you want to keep your existing site and your domain, and you don't want to create a website that's more specific for maps optimization, that's okay. That's how you do it. Another option would be, again, your keyword-rich domain name, which would be something like chiropractorsarasota.com. So that's all, and this is important as far as speeding up the process of getting your listing. So again, you want to link a URL or domain name that, again, has your city name and main keyword in the URL. All right, let's move on to the next lesson. Okay, so we just went over picking the right website address, and you obviously want to try to get your city name and main keyword either in the URL or in the domain name itself. And so we're going to go on to the next part, and this is website structure. And I'm going to talk about having local pages on your website. So it's, again, really not too complicated, but the whole thinking behind this is what I've seen help boost a lot of our clients' listings in the past and currently now. So this we've been doing for years now, is to create a location page, basically centered around the city that your business operates in, and then category pages, which are identical to the categories that you select in your Google My Business listing dashboard. And I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so now we're logged into a Google My Business listings dashboard, and we're editing the category section, and this is really important. A lot of people overlook this or don't think this is important, but the categories in your listing really help determine what types of search phrases in Google that your maps or Google My Business listing shows up for. And in this example, this is just basically an example listing. It's not live. And we're going to, again, focus on the category. So a category is who you are, not what you do. So that's the first thing you want to take into account, really think about, is a category. When you're picking categories for your business, It's not the products and services or what you do, it's who you are. Simple as that. So like you can see right here, the examples would be you're an Italian restaurant or a pet supply store or a wedding photographer. Incorrect would be pizza and pasta, pet food and toys or photos for events. That's what you serve, sell, or do. And it used to be that Google allowed you to make your own custom categories, but now you basically have to pick from their database. So for some businesses, you might not even have a category in Google My Business or Maps yet. So you have to look at what your competitors that are already placed higher than you in the search results have selected and use those. So that's just a quick tip. So here in this fictitious listing, I've picked categories for these chiropractor in Sarasota, and we just put chiropractor, sports massage therapist, wellness program, pain control clinic. So just for example's sake, those are our 4 categories. So now we're going to go over to a site that I have, and this is only for an example. This isn't a real business, but it's chiropractorsinsarasota.com. Notice I used the city name and main keyword in the domain name. So now this is just, I've only created a shell of a site just for this example in this video. So if you go here to the home page, you're not really going to get anywhere. These are just pictures. So what I want to point out to is right here in the menu, somewhere on your site and somewhere in your menu, you want to have a location page. So in this case, this page here is called Sarasota FL. So let's go to that page. Now the location page is important because when Google crawls your website, again the website that you've attached to your Google My Business listing, it wants to see some local signals back from your website to place basically more trust in your website and therefore your listing. It wants to make sure that you are in fact a business in Sarasota, Florida in this case. And so we go about that by doing several things. So the first thing that I include, and again the way this looks right now, you don't have to copy this verbatim. This isn't really for people. This is for search engines. So if you want to incorporate some of these things I'm going to go over into a page of your site that would look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, go ahead. This again is something that I usually kind of hide or bury somewhere in the site so that really only search engines can crawl it and they can understand all these key elements. So the first thing you'll notice is a quick business description. It's Sarasota Chiro Group, which again is fictitious, provides Sarasota, Florida consumers state-of-the-art chiropractic products. So I've used a version of the keyword, and it goes on to say our experts specialize in chiropractic, sports massage therapy, wellness programs, and pain control. So these are variations of the category. So if you were to click on, say, chiropractic, it'll actually bring you to what's called a category page. In this case, it's chiropractor, and then the city name and state abbreviation. So you want to call the page yourwebsite.com/, in this case it's chiropractor, Sarasota, and then the state abbreviation so that it understands it's a chiropractor category in Sarasota, Florida. And we're going to come back to this in a second. So back to the location page, you see I have links to the different categories that are in the Google My Business dashboard. The next element you're going to see here is a YouTube video. YouTube videos are really important, especially to Google because they own YouTube. And within the next couple years or so, a lot of people are predicting that the majority of internet content will be in video form. So I'd really suggest that you get some videos done, or you can even make them yourself and embed them on your web page. So this is a video. If you were to play it, it's just an example video. So I'll turn that sound off. This is where your main keyword video would be. And it's just important for right now. You want to have a business description on your location page. That you want to have links to your category pages, which we're going to go over here in a second. You want to have an embedded YouTube video, not a Vimeo video or any other site, YouTube. Then you want to briefly describe the services that you provide. This again is all for search engines to crawl and understand what your website and listing is about to have more confidence, and that helps you get placed higher in the search results and maps. So this would be chiropractic, Sarasota FL, wellness program, Sarasota FL, sports massage therapy, pain control. These are the actual, again, if we go back to the dashboard, the actual references to the categories: chiropractor, sports massage therapist, wellness program, and pain control clinic. So those are the services. I'm sorry, those are the general services that you want to match up close to your category, okay? Then you want to go to specific services that have to do with your main keyword. This would be chiropractic, which again is basically a semantic version of chiropractor. It means the same thing. So we have chiropractic neck and back adjustments, spinal decompression, whiplash, manipulation under anesthesia, auto injury, sports injuries, rehabilitation, sciatica, motorcycle injury, etc. So those are just those you want to list out the specific services that you offer there. You want to be a little bit more detailed. This here, it says our chiropractor Sarasota FL review sites. Okay, so this is where you do keyword-rich links back to your listings with reviews on other sites. So this would be like an example, our Yelp chiropractor listing. If I were to open that in another window, it would then take it to Yelp. So you'd actually want to take the URL from your listing and link it to this keyword-based phrase. The next one is our Health Grades Whiplash Treatment, our City Search Sports Massage page, our Facebook Wellness page. So these all kind of have to do with categories and the services that this fictitious chiropractor would deliver. Okay, then you want to go from here to, you want to define to the search engines that you're local in your surrounding area. And the best way to do that is you can say service map area, or I just said proudly serving. Then I listed the cities: Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, Siesta Key, etc. These are all cities right around Sarasota, but I actually link them to the official website of each city. This is called a local signal. This is becoming more and more important. So anytime somebody were to, a search engine were to come and crawl this page, it'll see when it goes to each city, it takes it to that city's official page. That's something that we've done that we don't really share that often, but it really helps, again, get you, I basically defined to the search engines and Google specifically that you are in fact really tied in the local community, and you link out to other surrounding areas, and it helps define to the search engine that in fact that you have local prominence within your city. You always want to have some type of widget or called plugin in WordPress, and I really suggest you use WordPress, by the way. Google actually even suggests that themselves. You want to be able to share the content. So again, this page isn't really for people's eyes, although if somebody were to come across it, I guess it wouldn't look totally bad, but it will just show that this content is linked socially and that somebody can share it. Now this here is called a sidebar, and you always want to have on pretty much every page of your site, you want to have your business name, address, and phone number identical, matching verbatimly to what's on your Google My Business listing. So you basically want to copy and paste that. You want to have a link to maps for directions. So then you actually put your maps location so people can leave directions. Again, this is all for search engines. You want to have an embed of your Google My Business map. And then you want to have your latest reviews from Google My Business, if you have some, in something called HCard review format, which is an HTML code markup. And again, you don't need to be a coder to do this. You can get the plugins for free at WordPress. So now it's our specialized, or you could call them business categories, and these are where they match verbatim. It's chiropractors, sports massage therapists, wellness program, pain control clinic. So each you want to link out to the category pages we're going to go over in a second. The rest of this is just office hours. Accepted payments, you can put that there or not. It's just, again, it's more business listing type information that you'd find on any business listing, because you want this to kind of mirror your Google My Business listing. And then nearby places. So we've already defined a service area to Google by linking out to the different cities' official sites. This is nearby places like restaurants and hotels. And if you notice on Google Maps, I'll show here, they always have links for nearby restaurants or hotels. So I just took that map and took nearby restaurants. This is Cafe Epicure, and it'll give it a second, it will load up. And then here's where the fictitious chiropractor is, 1234 Main Street in Sarasota, and then there's a nearby business. So again, this defines your physical location online. So the same thing would be with Classical Cafe in Selva, and then you have the Ritz-Carlton, the Indigo, and Hyatt. And then at the end in the footer, you always again want to have your exact name, address, and phone number. Now I'm going to go into something in the bonus section. If you go and share this on one of your social networks, you'll be able to see the code that's underlying, it's called schema, or business format schema and postal address schema, which allows the search engines to better classify and categorize you as a business in your specific location. So this is the location page. Real quickly, you also want to have a review page. And again, you can aggregate your reviews from other listing sites, and you want this to be an H-card review format, and that's something that you can either call if you have questions on, or you can Google it. I'm not going to go into that right now. And then we'll go back. You want to have your category pages. So on the category page, you don't need nearly as many things. Really what you want is your business name, address, and phone number. You want an image. You want a business description bolding your different services. You want another video embed that's titled Chiropractor Sarasota FL, and then your phone number, or in this case that would be their fictitious phone number, and really just a map embed and some reviews, and that's it. The important thing you want to notice is that in the URL, the page is Chiropractor Sarasota FL. If you hover over this tab, the title, or called title tag, starts off with Chiropractor Sarasota FL. The H1, or the most important heading on this page, is again Chiropractor Sarasota FL. This has nothing to do with SEO. It's just defining your category. So if we go to the other example, sports massage therapist, and it's basically another category. Again, we're getting these from your Google My Business categories. So verbatim, this is called, if I hover over the tab, sports massage therapist, then you want to add your city name, state abbreviation. So sports massage, therapist, Sarasota FL. Same thing, you want to have an image. You want to always incorporate images and videos on all your sites. This is very important. And then you want to have your citation, which is just a mention of your business name, address, and phone number anywhere on the web. Another description, bolding your services, and a different video embedded in this video is called obviously sports massage therapist Sarasota FL. So we're not going to go through the other two. You get the point. The whole gist of this really is you want to define to the search engines on your website that is linked, to your Google My Business listing, exactly what you are, where you're located with the location page, and which categories is your business fall under. It sounds simple, but it makes a huge impact on your Google Maps ranking. So if you can do this really works. It won't take care of everything, especially in a more competitive market, but it basically makes you a little bit more aerodynamic, or it provides less resistance to the search engines when they're trying to classify your website, your listing, and your business, and then rank it as far as an order of importance against your competitors. So that's it for the step 2. We're going to go on to step 3 in a minute. All right, now we're moving on to number 3, and this is about citation authority. And a citation is basically internet geek Google language for anytime there's a mention of your business name, address, and phone number all together on any web page anywhere online. Okay, so we're going to focus on structured citations, which are also known as business listing directories like Yelp, Yellow Pages, Yahoo Local, etc. Okay, and so when I say citation, it's just basically the mention of your business name, address, and phone number. And we're going to talk about citation authority, because it really isn't about how many business directory websites your business is listed in. It used to be, but not so much anymore. It's really about the authority or the overall importance of the listings, or of the listings that you have, especially on major sites. And I'll just use Yelp as an example. And so in this quick module, we're going to go over exactly how we boost the authority of that citation, because the way Google actually places your maps results has to do with the authority of your citations or your business listing pages throughout the web. It's also that combined with, as we went through, website structure and what you have as far as keywords and location in your domain name and URLs that you link to your Google My Business listing. There are a lot of factors, but we're focusing in on the ones that I feel are the most important. So it's okay if one of your competitors has 82, listings out there in different websites, and you only have 40. You can still actually outrank that competitor if your citation authority is higher. So let's go over to the web real quick and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so we're on an online report that I ran for this example for the keyword Sarasota chiropractor, and this is just a service that we use so we can quickly gather all the information about all of the businesses that are listed in the 7-pack on page 1, and it breaks it down by citations or business listings, citation authority, links to their website, website authority, reviews, images on their listing, and how many categories they have on their listing. So right now we're just going to focus on, for an example's sake, the number of citations, because again, ranking and getting high placement for your Maps listing or your Google My Business listing isn't isolated to just one category. It's a combination of, the citations or the directories you're listed in, how consistent your name, address, and phone number appear on those listings or any other web page for that matter, citation authority, which we're going to go into in this particular lesson, how many backlinks or links on other sites coming back to yours, the domain authority or website authority, basically how trusted your domain name is in the eyes of Google, and then reviews, images, and categories are pretty self-explanatory. So it's not so easy anymore just to say, okay, well, there's this one area where if I just do really well, I'm going to get on the first page or get to the top even, or the top 3. It's a combination of website optimization, keyword or what's called on-page optimization, off-page optimization, site structuring, your domain name, the history of your domain, how many sites link to your domain, what types of sites are they reputable, are they not, etc. So it kind of clouds the picture of just being able to go and say, okay, well, I just need to get more business directory listings and then I'll get to the top. That's not how it works anymore. So if you look at this report, this is kind of an example of what I'm talking about. So this is for the keyword, again, Sarasota chiropractor, and I just picked a business that happened to be advertising in pay-per-click or Google AdWords but doesn't show up anywhere in the map. And in this case, you can see they have 109 business listings or citations, whereas the top spot practice only has 32. And then the one under them has 57, and then the one of them has 62, then to 48, then to 87. It's really all over the place. And then down here towards the bottom of the first page map section, there's 101. So you can't really say that the more listing directories that you're in, the higher your Google My Business listing is going to be placed in the search results for a keyword like Sarasota chiropractor. It's just not true. So this is just kind of an example, and we do this as a time saver so we can again identify information on competitors and be able to figure out what needs to be done for that particular client to get them to the first page as quickly as possible. So this is for Sarasota. I pulled up another one for New York City or NYC chiropractor. I picked a practice here, Back and Body Medical. It's in Midtown Manhattan, and they have 183 business listings or citations, whereas the top listed Google My Business listing only has 52. And then heck, this guy here that's in the second position or the B position only has 11, and it's up to 79. It's really all over the place. So I wanted to show you these reports just to kind of illustrate. You don't have to just take my word for it that the number of citations or business directories that you're listed in by itself isn't really a major determining factor at all on how you place or rank in the Google My Business or Maps results. So let's go over to another thing I want to show you here real quick. Okay, so here we are at Yelp, and I'm going to use that example from the Sarasota Chiropractor, Light Back, and Neck Care Center. And this is their Yelp listing. And again, we're talking about the actual authority of a citation. And again, the citation is simply their name, address, and phone number. So this is considered an Internet Geek Talk citation, but again, it's basically a business listing. So Yelp is a pretty big site, and how we measure an authority of one listing versus the next, or one site versus another, one of the popular ways is using something called domain authority and page authority, and that's basically a rating system that came up with Moz from Moz.com. They're pretty much a pretty big authority in all things internet marketing, SEO, that type of thing. So good read, a good website to follow if you're interested in that kind of thing. But anyway, Moz is well known for coming up with the page authority and domain authority metrics. And it's basically a rating system from 0 to 100, 0 being no authority to 100 being like Google or Facebook or one of the biggest, bigger sites on the net. And I have a free plugin to my Mozilla Firefox browser right here. This is the Moz plugin for page authority, which is PA, and root domain authority, which is DA. So right now, the domain yelp.com has an authority score of 94, but as you can see over here, the actual page, this listing, this citation, has a score of 1. So basically what we can deduct from that, and this is pretty common for most local business listings, is the page itself really isn't very rankable. And just to backtrack, really this scale, this page authority and domain authority rating system, it takes into account basically roughly 200 ranking factors that go into Google's algorithm. And the higher the score, the easier it is to predict that that particular web page can place high in Google's search results. So just to backtrack, that's a better description of what page authority and domain authority are. So obviously Yelp's a huge site. Their domain authority is almost 100. It's great, but the page authority, the actual citation, is only 1. So in this quick lesson, we're going to focus on how do we boost that score from 1 to say maybe 10 or 7 or 20. I mean, you're probably not going to get a local business listing anywhere over 15, but really you just want to boost the rankability of this listing, because this listing is a citation that Google looks at and how they basically place your Google My Business listing in their search results. So the more authority that your citations or business listings have is one of the main factors on how high you're going to place in Google Maps. So hopefully I connected the dots here. And here's just another example. This is Yahoo Local. This is their listing on Yahoo. And again, the domain authority is 100, so it's a perfect score. Yahoo, it's been around for a while. But again, the page authority score is only 1. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how to boost the authority or the page authority of your listings, also known again as citations, and how that will affect your website and your Google My Business listing. So let's go right there. All right, so now I basically just created a simple slide diagram to kind of give you a visual representation of how we're going to be boosting the citation authorities, say, for example, a Yelp listing. So if you can see right here, here's your Yelp listing, which has a link on it to your website, which is linked onto your Google My Business listing. So this is kind of the way that trust flows from site to site. Okay, and I'll explain that here in a second. So again, this is your citation, and right now it has, in that example, it has a page authority score of 1. And so how do we boost that? Well, we boost it by having other reputable and authoritative sites link back to that listing. So when I say link, I mean somewhere on a page that you control, say for instance your Facebook page, you post something about your business, and within that post you contain a link to your Yelp listing. Okay, probably not the best example, but just for simplicity's sake, that's what I mean, and that's called a backlink, and these arrows represent links from these sites to your Yelp listing, which then again has a link that you can click that goes to your website, and your website again is linked to your Google My Business or Maps listing. So really the 3 areas that I find have the biggest pack the biggest punch as far as pushing your listing and even your website and the organic results up quickly are these 3 types of sites. Now there are other sites that we use other types and other ways of doing this, but for simplicity's sake, this I think is the simplest example. And so you have social, you have blogs, and then you have PR for press release sites. These are all really good non-Google penalty type of sites where you can post content that links back to other content. In this case, it would be a citation or your Yelp business listing, an example I just showed you. So what you would do is you could post on your social network some type of content, a blog post, a comment, whatever. Right now we don't need to get into that, and you want to have a link again back to your Yelp listing. These are Web 2.0 free blogs like WordPress, Blogger, which is a Google property, which I highly recommend you use if you're interested in local SEO or getting better placement. Tumblr, Delicious, and StumbleUpon. Okay, these are just their logos. So these are free blog sites where you can sign up for an account for free. You can create a blog, probably about what you do, and then you make posts basically that have links somewhere in the post. It could be an image that you link. It could be it could be just a sentence, a word. Usually the best thing for this is you want to build your brand authority, and your citations are kind of your brand online as far as Google's concerned. So your business listings are part of your brand. So when you post, say, a blog post on one of these free Web 2.0 blogs, which are all have high domain authority, you want to have the clickable text just be maybe your business name, or maybe just the http://www.yourbusinessname.com. You want to stay away from using your keywords that will actually get you in trouble. So you don't want to link, chiropractor Sarasota and all these different websites. You just want to have branded business links, or your business name, or just the naked, what they call the naked URL, just the website address that links back to your, in this case, your Yelp listing. So these are blogs, PR, press release sites. It's a good way to get the word out about your business in general. It's a good way to get traffic back to your site, but it's also great for maps and local SEO, or basically local SEO is maps. So you want to post a press release, maybe write a 800 to 1,000 word press release, and then use one of these services to then syndicate your press release to hundreds of news sites that have authority, and Google trusts them because they're legitimate websites with links back to maybe your website. But in this example, you want to put a link back to your listing. So you want to do this for maybe your top 10 to 15 citations or business directories that you're in. So this is basically the way that you boost the authority, by having links from reputable sites going into your citation or your business listing, which then in turn transfers that authority and trust to your website, which is also linked to your Google My Business listing, therefore helps push up the business listing in the search results. It's really as simple as that. So this part here is a little time intensive, and it takes a little bit of work, but if you get a system together and you do it on a somewhat regular basis, you'll also find that not only does your Google My Business listing show up higher in the search results for your main keywords, your website might pop up into the organic results, and these actual listings have sometimes been known, and you can probably see examples where they show up on the page one as well. So there's nothing wrong with owning 2 or 3 spots on page 1 and owning more real estate on the first page. So that's it for boosting citation authority. Hopefully this is helpful, and we're going to move on to the next step. Alright, so we just finished up the quick lesson on citation authority. It's really important as far as relating to Google Maps, because again, Google Maps and Google uses your citations as a good barometer of how important your listing is with them, based off of the authority and the importance of the citations you have with other sites. Now we're going to move on to the next and final lesson, which is content syndication. Now again, if you go to the bottom of this page, there is a bonus. I highly recommend that you look at it. The content is locked, so you'll have to share this page either on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, or LinkedIn to get that, but that's really a small price to pay to spread the word, help us out, and also you get some really good information. So let's get back to content syndication. And this is how we're basically going to go over the importance of why it's important, especially now in 2015 and moving forward, to have some type of blog in place on your website, and how to syndicate that content that you put on your blog to social networks so that the stuff could possibly go viral, or at least get shared and send signals back to Google, which then in turn increases the authority of your domain and website, which will do 2 things. It's kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It will boost your Google My Business listing. It also helps rank your website or boost it in the organic or website listing. So let's go to the web here and check it out. All right, so we're here at the again, the fictitious website chiropractorsinsarasota.com. Well, the website's actually not fictitious, but there is no, again, Sarasota Chiro Group. This is just for this video example. And we're at the blog page. So it's important to have a blog and it's not as hard or as time intensive as you may think, or it doesn't need to be. But the reason you want to have a blog relating to how you place in Google search results, specifically maps, is one of the growing and more important ranking factors, actually for both maps and the organic website results, is Google and any search engine loves websites that continually produce new content or new pages on a semi-regular basis. So this doesn't mean you have to, post 5 blog posts a day and you're going to be at the top of Google, but it is an important factor. And there are a couple reasons why. If you're posting new content, be it videos, images like infographics or funny pictures or serious articles or whatnot, and sharing them across social networks, it does a lot for your Google Maps SEO and your normal local SEO for your website, because you're then getting links back to your domain from authoritative sites like Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, etc. So it's a great way to get traffic and get better rankings. And the real tie-in to why this affects Google Maps, you're probably wondering, is because your website authority, if you remember in that report, or domain authority of your website, does play a significant role on how highly you place in the map section. So because it does that, this is, I thought, important to bring up and kind of show you. So as far as creating a blog, again, I recommend that you install a website on WordPress if you already haven't. It's relatively easy to use. There's some great premium themes you can buy anywhere from $40 to $100 or so, and have a magnificent looking website that you can control and you can customize to your liking, or you can pay somebody to do it for you. But either way, you always want to have control of your site. So that's why I recommend WordPress. The other thing is WordPress is originally a blogging platform. So even though you're a local business, or you're working for local businesses, if you're an SEO consultant watching this video, it's good to have this. And it's really you don't have to be a coder. There are all types of custom plugins you can use to do all kinds of things. It's really it's a real time saver as compared to 5-10 years ago. So that's my spiel on WordPress. So back to the blog. So we're going to focus on content syndication, okay? And so for what I mean is, when you post something to your blog, we'll say this is an article about sciatica treatment. So notice I titled it Sciatica Treatment Sarasota. You always want to have the link, the URL, have your keywords or at least city name in there. Again, same with the title tag. It says Sciatica Treatment Sarasota, Sarasota Chiropractor, blah, blah, blah. And that's about it. You don't need to go crazy with your keywords. It's really not necessary anymore, and that really won't get you anywhere. So just title it appropriately. But here's our blog post. So to syndicate it, normally what you'd have to do is log into all your different social media accounts. And assuming you have a Facebook, a LinkedIn, maybe a Twitter, a Google+, because you do have a Google+ social account with your Google My Business listing. So you want to find an easy way to syndicate your content across all types of social networks, so that you get those links, those backlinks I talked about in the citation authority training, back to your website. So it builds up your domain authority. And this example website, which I just set up for this, it has a PA of 1. So it kind of ranks the same as that Yelp listing for Lyot Back and Neck Center. But anyway, you want to build up that page authority and domain authority, and this is a website address that hasn't really been used, so that's of no surprise. But that's why you want to syndicate. Now, what you can do is, you don't always have to write original content, or you don't always have to create original content. I understand if you're watching this, odds are you're a business owner, and your job is to run your business, not to be an SEO writer. And I get that. So you can pay somebody to do it for you, or an easy method is just to curate. Basically borrow other people's information, other pertinent, relevant, new articles that are maybe popular across the web, and put it onto your blog post, make some comments, and give credit where credit's due. That's it. So you don't have to be a writer to do this, but just find things that are engaging, funny, interesting, thought-provoking relative to what you do or the services you provide, and put it on your blog. And in this case here, not this particular post, but other posts, we actually just have references and cites at the bottom, so that we're giving the original author their due credit, and curating, basically we're putting in our commentary or our thoughts on an existing article, but you're doing it on your domain. And I'm going to show you here in a second. If I go to Facebook, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay, and this happens on almost all social networks of small businesses. So let's just never mind my wall right now, and we'll go to Lyot Back and Neck Center right there. So we're going to pull up their fan page. And here's their timeline. And this is a common mistake that I see almost all the time, is the posts that they put up don't actually go back to their website. They're from other articles and images and stuff like that, and that's great, but you're not getting any of that credit back to your domain name or website address. So for instance, like say if this is just a comment, there's no link or anything back to your site. So what you want to do is you want to take the link from your blog post and you want it on the actual fan, in this case for Facebook, your fan page. So you can make some commentary on the Facebook page, maybe include an image or a video or whatever is relevant to what that post is about, be it, you know, for entertainment purposes or for informational purposes. You want to have a link back to your site. In this case, they're just this is just something about a receptionist. Let's see, like an image here. This is a cool image. Yoga apps and online classes take off. If you were to click on it, this should go back to his website and then cite this article on the Wall Street Journal. So there's nothing wrong with sharing good content that this particular chiropractor thinks is relevant and interesting, but take this article and write a quick blurb about it and put it on your site, and then take the link to your site and post it. So you can still post the image and make it clickable back to your site. Almost every small business I see is not doing this correctly. So there's nothing wrong with having posts that go to other sites, but you want the majority of the stuff that you share across social networks to give your website credit in the eyes of the search engines like Google, instead of you basically giving others. Now in this case, he linked it back to his website. Check out our new website. So it looks like they got their website done in January. But that's a common mistake. So what you want to do is, instead of, you know, you should have at least 3 or 4 social media pages. And social media for a small business isn't, you don't want to build up your page as far as so that everything is on your page and there are no links back to your site. You want to use your social media pages like Facebook as a conduit to drive traffic back to your site. Okay, because what could happen, and this is the same with Google My Business as well, any listing that you really don't own any of these, you're on Facebook.com, you don't own Facebook, so you don't necessarily have the control you think over your content. So you always want to use your pages as a way to reach out to the local area online and bring them back to your website on a regular basis, which brings traffic back to your blog, back to your website, which increases your domain authority, which in turn increases both your Google My Business placement in maps and the organic search results. Plus you're just getting good targeted traffic, and you're getting your articles and posts shared and liked and whatnot, and that's all healthy. So you don't have to be a professional writer, but when you're going to share something, if you find something somewhere else from like a reputable site like wallstreetjournal.com or WSJ.com, that's great. Curate it on your own blog. So that's my quick tip on how to get content. You don't have to write all these yourself. If you're good at doing that, by all means do it. But you don't have to do it that way, so it's not that intimidating. You really want to take advantage of Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and LinkedIn especially. And again, if you're going to use other people's information, just give them credit, cite the source on your blog, but make sure that this is on your blog. That's the proper way of doing things. Now, back to, okay, well, how do I do this? There are a lot of services and tools out there that you can syndicate with basically a click. One of them that I'll suggest is onlywire.com. OnlyWire is really neat because you set up once all of your social and Web 2.0 blog accounts, and there's about 30 or so here. And if you have a post, say like this, I'll just copy it. You go to your posts, you simply click on that right there, and then you just paste your post. And then it will actually read the page and kind of give you a suggested title. So if you want that, that's fine. I'm actually going to change that. Just sciatica treatment in Sarasota. I'll just do something like that. And what you can do then and you type a quick message, just great article on sciatica. And you probably want to put more than that, but you can put a description, and then you go down to your networks and you can choose which accounts you want this to go to. So I'll say this is my own personal stuff, so I'm not going to share with my LinkedIn or my Facebook page, but pretty much everything else is good to go. So all I do is click continue, and then I have 29 networks I'm sharing with, and click share, and boom. This article is now going to be syndicated to all those different websites with basically a click. So again, syndication of your content, which should always originate from your website, specifically your website domain. Even if you're curating and borrowing other people's content, you want to syndicate that out to all these different networks. And right now it says it's scheduled, and within a couple minutes it'll all be completed. So you can do this with all of your stuff. And again, if you have WordPress, it's really easy. It's a couple of clicks to set up a blog. And as you can see, it's really not hard. And this is really the best way to continually get engagement online, build your rankings or boost your rankings in both local maps and your organic rankings, and get some targeted traffic, because your website should be capturing leads. So that's it here. Again, onlywire.com. It's a paid service, and I think it's about the basic package is like $9.99 a month. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about OnlyWire is the only pain is really setting up all these accounts. You have to set up the account on each of these sites. You create a username, login, and go through the verification process. So it might take you a couple hours to do that. Or you can go to Fiverr.com. I'll show you real quick. And Fiverr, if you haven't heard of it, it's a site where people do things for you for $5. And if you just type in OnlyWire, you have all these gigs where they basically, for $5, they'll set up your whole OnlyWire account. So all your 30-something social networks that you can create and manage, they'll set it up for you for $5. It takes a couple of days, or not even sometimes, then you're good to go. Or you can just do it yourself. So anyway, I hope this whole training was helpful. This definitely is stuff that works not only right now in 2015, but all the things that I've taught you aren't things that are going to get you in trouble. It's going to help you going forward, because that's really where the internet and the local search market is going as well, as far as how to be more visible, how to generate more leads, how to have high rankings in maps and organic. These are all the things that you want to do. All right, welcome to the bonus video. This is something called geo optimization, which really has nothing to do with SEO, but it's about really emphasizing the location, your physical location, and or the area that you serve geographically online, multiple times referencing the Google Maps. Now, this is something that I've been doing for a while personally with a lot of my clients, and I found it gives you a little bit of an extra boost. And the theory behind it is this: it's simple. Think of your Google My Business listing as say an airplane, and you want to make it as aerodynamic as possible so it can quickly get up the rankings. Okay, it's kind of a corny analogy, but that's, I guess, the way I see it. So you want to make it for the search engines to be extremely easy and have multiple references of your location both on the page and in the code. And believe it or not, you don't have to be, a rocket scientist or a mechanical engineer to understand this. You're just basically, what this is including multiple references of your exact geographic location, both latitude and longitude, GPS, and you want to put it in things like images, in the text itself, in the title tags, the headers or the headlines of the page. You want to include images and video, and you want those images and video to be tagged appropriately based on your location, and include maps, geographic information. So I told you it was going to be kind of dorky, but listen, this is stuff that works. And if you think about it, one of the reasons this is important is because more and more of the searches on Google, and pretty much any search engine right now, are mobile. So people are either on their tablet or they're on their smartphone, and they're out and about, and they're looking for, your service wherever that is. And so Google has part of their pigeon algorithm update back in July of 2014, late July, early August in the US, was more tailoring the results based on the searcher being in the center of a radius, also known as the centroid. Yes, it's dorky, but that's just what it's called. And Google delivering local maps results closest to that physical location. The other thing you have to think about is, 3 or 4 years ago, it was pretty common for people to go to Google and type in the service that they're looking for with the city name and maybe state abbreviation or zip code or the city name and service. So for instance, they would type in Sarasota chiropractor. And they still do, but more and more searchers with the technology we have in our smartphones just assume and know that the search engines like Google, they know exactly where you're physically located, so you don't have to go through and type the city name. We're basically lazy and just type in chiropractor or chiropractor near me. And in fact, if you have an Android phone, which is a Google developed device, they automatically add the tag in your search on your phone near me. So you might just type chiropractor and it will say actually to the search engines like Google, chiropractor near me. Again, emphasizing find my location and then find all the applicable and relevant results or businesses closest to me. This is obviously, Google does this because they want quality results for their searchers. If their searchers don't get quality results, they're not going to use their search engine anymore. And if they don't use their search engine, then people aren't going to pay the money that they're paying right now to advertise directly on that page one. So not, rocket science, but that's the thinking behind it. So I'm just going to go in real quick and show you some of the things that I did on this location page to really emphasize the geographic location of this fictitious business, which is located at 1234 Main Street in Sarasota, Florida. So the first thing you're going to notice is we'll start from the top and work our way down. Obviously, it's a location page. The title tag just says Sarasota FL. This is pretty easy stuff. The URL or the extension on the web page is Sarasota-FL, and I always like to put location to make it obvious that this is the location. And then this little thing here where it says Sarasota FL, this in WordPress is actually called the H1 tag. There's H1 through 6. Most people use H1 through 2 or 3. Now, the 1 is the most important tag. 2 is less important, 3 is less important than that. That's really all you need to know right now. It's not a big deal. So these are just basic things, and this is kind of like on-page SEO, so I'm not going to really go into that too much. But the first thing you'll notice is this image. Now if I hover over the image, you'll see a little box pop up and it says chiropractor, Sarasota FL 34236, because that's a zip code. That is the alt text of the image, and I'll tell you exactly what I mean. If I go into the edit mode of this page, this is going to look a little bit different here. As I go in here, I'll make it a little bit easier. I'll use a visual editor. This is a nice little plugin. And if I go to edit that image, I just click on it, and I click on the pencil for edit, you'll see image title attribute actually is the chiropractor Sarasota FL 34236. This tells the search engines where this image is located, where this page is located. The alt text or alternative text is simply chiropractor. So that's the first thing you want to do. The second thing is you'll notice that this image actually is not hosted on this domain or on this website. It's on another Google-owned property called Panoramio, which is basically an integration of Google Maps and images. So we'll go back to the live page. So if you were to click on this image, a new window will open. And here's the image. It's on my Panoramio account, and you'll see right here I've geotagged the map. So now this image is tagged onto Google Maps, and so it's now location based. And if you can see right down here, this is the latitude and longitude exact geo coordinates of that image, which also coincides with the business. This is called geotagging, okay? And so I titled the picture Chiropractor Sarasota FL because that's what this business is, and they're located in Sarasota, Florida. And I put a citation in the description, just Sarasota Chiro Group, the address and the phone number. And then they actually give you the opportunity here to do a backlink from Panoramio, which you can see is a 90 domain authority. And this is back to the keyword that will go back to the home page, the front page of the website. So that's what I've done with the images on the location page. Again, this by itself might not boost you up, but this combined with the other elements that we've talked about that I've showed you or shown you definitely gives it makes your listing as far as resistance to the search engines more aerodynamic, because it's more added rich information and signals around the web of your exact location. And why is this important? Again, it's important because more and more people are doing local searches with just the keyword and not the location. So you really need to stand out above and beyond your competition, which I can guarantee you is not doing these things, so that the search engine knows, specifically Google, exactly where the website's located. Therefore, it has more confidence and it will display you higher. That is the thinking behind that. So the next thing is you want to always incorporate images and video in almost all your web pages, all your websites. It's just very important. Google and any search engine likes different forms of content, different formats. So we'll go to this YouTube video. Now if I click on that link, this is the actual YouTube page. I'll go ahead and turn that the sound off. And of course, chiropractor, Sarasota FL. But if you look at the description, again, I have an opportunity to put a backlink, just the branded, or not even branded, but the naked URL, the address. Oops. And then I just put in a blurb about get relief from what ails you. Here's the citation. This is a citation on a domain authority of 100. So it's a good, powerful, it's called a non-structured citation, because a structured citation is in a listing directory format, like a Yelp, Yahoo, Bing, Google My Business, etc. This still gives you a little bit of credit towards your Google My Business listing, because it's a citation and it's an exact match to how it is on the Google My Business listing. And then there's a link right here. If we really want to overemphasize, that goes to the actual maps location of this business. So that's called geotagging. And since I'm signed in, how you do that is you simply go to, we'll go to the settings here. So we'll go to Video Manager. I'll find this. Here it is right here. And you'll see in your settings, it's under Advanced Settings. And you'll see all you have to do is type or copy and paste the location or your address in here and click search. It will pull it up on a map. So in essence, this video is embedded on the location page, which is really about identifying your business location, and it's also geotagged with the exact latitude and longitude. So those are the first two things I wanted to bring up. Now the same thing with this image here. It's in Panoramio, it's geotagged on Google Maps, has the citation, has the business or the main keyword, the location, and the zip code, and then again has a backlink back to the home page of the website. So we've already gone through that, just another example. Now we're going to go up to here, and this is the sidebar. And so really, to the naked eye, all you see is, okay, well, that's another quote-unquote citation. It's the business name, address, and phone number, again matching your Google My Business listing. But it's a little more than that. This is written up with a HTML code markup called schema. And I'll show you right here. If we go to the sidebar, and exactly where this is located, and so this is the sidebar for here, you'll see all this here. This is a lot different. This is, if you go to schema.org, schema.org, they have all different coding classifications for what things are about. So this code here, this whole thing right here, this is that name, address, and phone number that we see here. You don't see all these other things, but the search engines like Google do. They spider this and they understand. This is just making it extremely clear using a coding format or markup that search engines like. Google loves this. They recommend schema all the time. It's part of how they grade out your website. So you want to have your citation in schema format. So in this format, it's the chiropractic classification. And then the name, again, it says item prop equals name, Sarasota Chiro Group, address, and again, schema, and there's the address, locality is the city, region is the state, postal code is the zip code, and telephone is obviously the telephone. So that right there is another element. You always want to use schema on your site. And if you notice, if we go down to the footer, I'll show you right here, this is the footer, and this goes with you on every page of your site. This is also marked up in schema as well. So this gives you an added advantage of clearly identifying yet another location-based signal back to the search engines that solidifies your location with them, giving them more confidence in your listing and your website. So as we go down the page, some other things that I've included on here is, again, we mentioned this goes, it's a link for driving directions. If you click on it, it goes directly to maps. So again, it maps out your location, and then they can get directions. That's kind of just an added thing. So there's the location on the map. And if I just go back here, you want to have an embed of your Google My Business location, so that an embed is something that I'll show you how it looks in code. Let's see. This is the actual embed. If I can go down here, and it's all this gobbledygook, right? But anyway, that's an embed code, and you can actually get that from that map location. So if you view on Google Maps, it'll open up another window. And how I did that is if you come down here, let it load up, basically it will allow you to share it. If you click on this little thing in the bottom right hand corner, share or embed map, if you already don't know this, click on embed, and then you have different sizes and you can actually customize that. You just copy that code into your site. So that's pretty easy fix there. Now this here, these reviews are in HCard review format, and they also have HCard business reviews. The HTML markup, it's another way, kind of like schema, where before each review in the code, it will actually have your business classification, your business name, address, phone number. So again, that's important to have that in HCard review format. And as we go down here, this is more of a location signal. This is a widget. It's like a weather widget, okay? So it's embedded on your page, but it's set for Sarasota, Florida. So again, if I click on this extended forecast, it's actually, I use openweathermap.org. This is another geographic indicator of the website and your business. Not a huge deal, but this is why that's placed there. And I did go over in the other lesson real quick. We'll do it again. If you go to Google Maps, let's see, let's get rid of this real quick. It always has search nearby hotels and restaurants, and what we found is that if you actually mirror that on your site and put nearby places, restaurants and hotels, then physically find the hotels and restaurants on the map, you can take their actual link from each other place and link that on your site. So for instance, if I do Ritz-Carlton, we'll open it up. This is the Google Maps exact link, latitude and longitude, and if you give it a second, I'm using screen sharing software, so everything runs a little bit slower than usual, but a pin will pop up, and then it actually has their listing. So this just again shows your proximity to other local trusted things like the Ritz-Carlton. So again, it just kind of, I hate to use the phrase, but triangulates your location. So those are the things that that you can see now. If you go to edit page, I'm going to show you how I actually geotag the entire page. And this is using a plugin. Again, you don't have to be a coder. It's called you go to mygeoposition.com, and it's a geotagging plugin where simply if I wanted to take an address, so I'll just copy this, I'll clear it, so you click open GeoPicker tool, okay, and then you have to share your location, which is fine. And then all you do is simply paste the address and click search. Now it's found it on Google Maps, and you return the data, and again it gives your latitude and longitude geo position. And what this does is it puts it in the header of the code or the metadata of your website. So as a search engine spider crawls your site and looks through the code, again it sees another reference to your exact location. So I'll just hit update. And we'll go back to the view the page. So we've covered how we're tying images and geotagging those, YouTube videos specifically geotagging those, using links to maps, embeds, using other points of reference and other outside sites that reference location. The last thing is in the footer. And this is something called KML, which means Keyhole Markup Language, and it's a language that Google Earth, the program Google Earth, is built on. So what I did is in the footer, I simply linked to a pinned location in Google Earth that happens to be the exact address of this fictitious business. So I always put something like our chiropractor Sarasota location. Now if I click on this, you see it wants to know if I want to save it or open with Google Earth. It knows that location.kml is a file I uploaded to my server, and if I click OK, it will actually open up Google Earth now. There may be a little bit of a delay because I'm using screen recording. Oh, there it is. All right, and so what this does is yet another Google property that utilizes maps in a three-dimensional format. And I'll just close this window, and as you see, as dorky as this is, it will go down, and I've created a pin or a place on Google Earth right here. So this references, it's called a KML file. Now, years ago, maybe a year or two ago, this really gave a huge boost to your website and your listing. I think it's been negated a little bit, but it's still something I like to include. So again, if I click on that pin, I've created a little file that just has a description of the business, a phone number, the link to the homepage, another citation, and then the address. So that's pretty much it with that. So those are some things that you can do. And again, the reason why this, although I know it sounds and looks kind of silly, it really does, but these types of things help search engines, specifically Google, because that's what we're talking about in these videos and these trainings, to understand in many different ways your exact location on the Google map, something that they created. They understand and manage it to tie your website and, more importantly, your Google My Business listing to all these local location signals. So I told you it would be dorky, and I completely came through on my promise, but these are things, as you can see, are very easy to do, that if you're looking for an additional edge and you're looking towards the future when less and less people are going to search using or saying the city name or the location, simply what they're looking for, and find it near me, these types of things come into play. So thanks a lot. If you found this video interesting, do us a favor and share it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, or Twitter. And if you have any other questions, feel free to contact me. Our contact information or my personal information is below.